discussion, we're going to talk about the logic. So, logic has three types. We have formal logic, informal logic, and the symbolic logic. Before we're going to discuss these three types of logic, first we are going to have a brief overview about this logic. So, what is this logic? A logic is an interdisciplinary field which studies truth and reasoning. So, when we were going to talk about truth, it gives the conformity of a thought to the laws on logic. In particular, in a concept, consistency, in an inference, validity, in assumptions. This would better be called mathematical truth, since mathematics is the only science which aims at nothing more. Then we have reasoning. So reasoning in mathematics, it involves drawing logical conclusion based on evidence or stated assumptions. Sense making may be considered as developing understanding of a situation, context, or concept by connecting it with existing knowledge or previous experience. So, is it this reasoning is important? Yes, reasoning is important because reasoning is the most fundamental and essential tool of mathematics. It helps one understand and justify mathematical theorems. So, in simple words, a logic is the study of correct reasoning, especially regarding making inferences. Logic began as a philosophical term and is now used in other disciplines like math and computer science. While the definition sounds simple enough, understanding logic is a little more complex. Logic can include the act of reasoning by humans in order to form thoughts and opinions, as well as classifications and judgments. Some forms of logic can also be performed by computers and even animals. Logic can be defined as the study of truth based completely on the meaning of the contained. Logic is a process for making a conclusion and a tool you can use. The foundation of a logical argument is its proposition or statement. The proposition is either accurate or true or not accurate or false. Premises are the propositions used to build the argument. The argument is then built on premises. Then an inference is made from the premises. Finally, a conclusion is drawn. A definition of logic in philosophy. Logic is a branch of philosophy. There are different schools of thought on logic in philosophy, but the typical version is called classical elementary logic or classical first-order logic. In this discipline, philosophers try to distinguish good reasoning from bad reasoning. Then, a definition of logic in mathematics. Logic is also an area of mathematics. Mathematical logic uses propositional variables, which are often letters, to represent propositions. So, the first type of logic is the formal logic. In formal logic, you use deductive reasoning and the premises must be true. You follow the premises to reach a formal conclusion. So, formal logic, it is a logic based on argument involving deductively necessary relationships and including the use of syllogisms and mathematical symbols. So, when we say syllogism, it is an instance of a form of reasoning in which a conclusion is drawn, whether validity or not, from two given or assumed propositions or the premises, each of which shares a term with a conclusion and shares a common or middle term not present in the conclusion. So we have example, all dogs are animals. Then all animals have 4 legs. Therefore, all dogs have 4 legs. So, when we say formal logic, it says here that it uses deductive reasoning, which means deductive reasoning, it is a type of argument used in both academia and everyday life. Also known as deduction, the process involves following one or more factual statements or premises through their logical conclusion. So, we are going to have an example. First example is, our premises is, all men are mortal. Then, Ethan is a man. Our conclusion would be, so, Ethan is mortal. Then, next we're going to have another example. We have all types of snakes are reptile. So, anacondas are snake. So, our conclusion would be, so all anacondas are reptiles. Then we have the informal logic, the second type of types of logic. Informal logic is a method of argument analysis which is complementary to that of formal logic, providing for the pragmatic treatment of features of argumentation which cannot be reduced to logical form. When we were going to differentiate informal logic to formal logic, when we say formal logic abstracts the form of an argument from an instant of it that may be encountered and then evaluates the form as being valid or invalid. While informal logic, on the other hand, evaluates how an argument is used in a given context or conversation. So, an example, my father is a thief. Then, I live with my father. So, this is the premises. My father is a thief. I live with my father. The conclusion is, I am a thief. So, in here, in this example, it talks about generalization. It generalized the situation. Since his father is a thief, then he is living with his father. The conclusion is, he is also a thief. So, we're going to have a next example. No I'm sorry. The sign on the wall says, no smoking, rules enforced. So that is our premises. So the conclusion would be, no enforcement means we can smoke and get away with it. Then, next is the symbolic logic. A symbolic logic, it is the study of the meaning and relationships of statements used to represent precise mathematical ideas. So, symbolic logic, it is a science. It assigns symbols to verbal reasoning in order to be able to check the veracity of the statements through a mathematical process. You typically see this type of logic used in calculus. So, for example, we have our propositions. All animals have 4 legs. Zebra have 4 legs. So, zebra is animal. So, when we will going to write it in a symbolic form, our first premises will going to be the A, the second is B, and the third one is C. So, when we are going to write it in a symbolic form, it gives A and B implies C. To understand more, a formal logic in formal logic, you use deductive reasoning, and the premises must be true, and you follow the premises to reach a formal conclusion. So, as I've said a while ago, an example, all types of snakes are reptile. Anacondas are snake, so all anacondas are reptiles. Then, informal logic is a method of argument analysis which is complementary to that of formal logic, providing for the pragmatic treatment of features of argumentation which cannot be reduced to logical form. An example, my father is a thief. I live with my father, and the conclusion is I am a thief. Then, another example, the sign on the wall says no smoking, rules enforced. The conclusion, no enforcement means we can smoke and get away with it. Then the last one is the symbolic logic. It is the study of the meaning and relationships of statements used to represent precise mathematical ideas. An example, all animals have 4 legs. Zebra have 4 legs. So, zebra is a animal. So, when we are going to write it in a symbolic form, here, so our A here is all animals have 4 legs. This is our first premises, the A. Then our B is zebra have 4 legs. So, the letter C is so zebra is animal. So, when we are going to write it in a symbolic form, it will going to be this one. So, let A as our first premises, the all animals have 4 legs. So, A and B, so the second premises, zebra have 4 legs. And C, so zebra is animal. So, A and B implies C. So, this signs, this symbol represent as, it will be going to read as and. So, A and B implies C. So these are the different types of logic. The formal logic, informal logic, and symbolic logic. So I hope I have imparted my knowledge about this topic, the types of logic. The formal logic, informal logic, and symbolic logic. So, I am Jomairey Sunano, BS Ed Math 3. Thank you for watching.